Hey everybody, this is Jen from ScanNCut Canvas and Scal Help on Facebook. Okay, here is the image. This video is going to be on using the wrapper effect and also throwing in the bulge, mainly for this shape of glass right here. I'm using this image so that I can show you what I'm talking about as we do it. This is a photo of two glasses that I bought. So that I could redo this video, because a lot of you have had questions about when to use the wrapper, how to measure, and all of that stuff. So when I do my measurements and show you the things that I'm going to do over here with this word, I can also point to what I'm talking about right over here, okay? So just try to follow along with me. Okay, so here I have my word all typed up. And you do that by coming over here, entering your text, and all that good stuff. Now, I got my height, which is, right here, 4 and 2.5, okay? But I'm going to decrease that and make it just 4 and just 2.5, okay? That's what I want. And I beefed it up by coming over here to the wrench and see, shadow straight. And I changed it because when you just do this on your own, it's going to come up to 0.05. I take my cursor in there just like this and I enter 0.03. Okay? And that comes up to this. Alright, I've done all of my unioning, I think. Maybe not. Let's see here. Yes. I have. Okay, and I want to keep these separate, because if I join them, sometimes that's a little bit of a pain in the butt if you have them joined together, because that can create a wrinkle right here in between, right here, that tail of that Q. When you go to put them down, sometimes a wrinkle can start right there. Okay, so we have our word like we want it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to effects. We're going to bring up the wrapper. Okay, so right here it says top diameter. Well, what that means is right here around the top, okay? So with this one, what I did was, instead of just measuring around the top, I measured around where I want the top of my letters to sit, okay? So the very peak of my letter would be the L. So wherever I want that to set is where I measured, okay? So right now I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to measure around it. Oops. Try not to drop it and break it. And it comes out at 8.75. And I know the bottom is also 9.50. Okay? And look, it all disappeared. Well, because the numbers I have weren't jiving. Okay? So now, what it said here was a slant height. Well, what's a slant height? I don't know. Vertical height, I do know what that means. We're going to measure, okay, so the bottom diameter, I had it at about right here, because that's where I want the bottom of my letters to sit, okay? So I have my top height at about here, and I have my bottom height right here. And yeah, this kind of looks bad because, you know, you think about where your lips are going to go. Well, this word isn't going to go all the way around the glass. So it might go from here to here, but then I still have the rest of the glass to drink out of if I were to use this glass, which I'm not. Okay, so here's the top part, and here's the bottom part where I measured. So I got it in the chubbiest part of the glass. So now, vertical height, I'm going to measure from here to here. So from where my bottom measurement was to where my top measurement was. So I'm going to do that right now. And we're going to see what I get. 3 inches. Okay, so that looks about right. I'm going to take off this add template because I don't want that template in there. And I'm going to click OK. You see there's not a big difference in the change of the letters. But look at this glass. There's not a big difference in the change, really. If you look at just this side right here, there's not a big change in that either. Okay? Where I do notice a change might be like right in here. So, what I can do, if I wanted to, so let's say that this was a little bit steeper. Say this curve like this instead of like this. What I can do now, after I have my wrapper, I can select it again, come up here to Effects, come to Bulge. Okay, I'm going to select, what was it? I think it's Opposite and Opposite. Oops, Auto Preview. And it should start working here in a minute. Okay, there we go. But now you see how that's kind of chubbing it out a little bit. I don't know if I want it to be that much. I'll definitely take this down too. Okay, so it's kind of brought it out a little bit, and you can see now with this template on it, if this was your glass, you can see now how that's starting to form. Do you see how that's starting to give it that glass bulgy appearance? Just like this right here. So that's what you want to see. So if this glass came up just like this, it had a more rounded appearance than the one that I was able to find. Sorry, that's all I could find at Walmart. This is what I would want, okay? But since it's not too bulgy and not too round, I don't want to give it that much. So I think this should be good for my little word. Okay? So I'm going to put this up here. Now, let's, well, now, goodness. That's what happens when you have 2 fingers on your keyboard, your mouse. Okay. So now this one. Well, that one's kind of straightforward, because there's really no bulge in it to speak of. And there's not a whole lot of curves in it. It's just straight up and down. 6.5 at the top. Trying to measure it. I need another hand. And 7 at the bottom. So if I wanted to make one for this glass, you'd enter your words, come up to your effects, 6.5 at the top, 7 at the bottom. Let's just go ahead and type a word. Oops. There we go. So you'd add 6.5. 7. And here, vertical height, 2.5. Okay. And it hardly changed it at all. but that's because this really doesn't change at all. Okay? And remember, you don't really have to use this to do glasses, but sometimes it does help, especially for something like this. So you can see when we take this, oops, let me get it over here. And you bring this up here. That already starts to form around there, okay? So we'll take this over, load it to my stick, and we'll see how it lays on the glass. Export, find my stick, FCM, and there we go. Alright, so now the next video we'll be cutting it out and sticking it on the glass.